Hello, this is a video about CCGs and the prescription data in ScriptMap. What I'm going to show you today is how to actually filter on CCGs so that you can immediately see your territory, which is presumably based on CCGs. It's a lot easier than using the territories and a lot more flexible than using the territories in ScriptMap, but let's start by logging in. Okay, the filter, which allows you to impose a permanent filter, is based on the top bar, the blue line here. The CCG filter itself works separately in each country. So if your territory is based in Scotland or Wales, then you have to go in there first before you set the filter up. So let's do it in England for the moment. So the way to select your territory is to scroll up and down this list of CCGs in England or whichever country you're looking at and say, click them individually so that they're added to your list. They go green when they're selected, so I'm going to unselect Darlington, but I've gone for Gateshead. If we remember the number 00F, we'll come across that later. So those are selected, but the way to actually turn it on is you'll notice the top line says the filter is off. All CCGs will be reported, so you have to click that. It then goes orange and it says filter is on. So once you've done that, you can actually close this pop-up down and you will notice that the button has now got orange or reddish writing. So that means it's on. Okay, and it also shows the filter is on, it's shown on the top line there underneath the identification of which country you're in. So let's expand a product out. Let's have a look at omeprazole, because that's a very commonly one, and when we open it up we immediately get a warning saying the filter is on. So click that and then we can choose whichever product we want to look at. I'm going to look at omeprazole caps because I know there's lots of prescribing of that, so we'll get some data out very quickly. Use the first drop down and we see we have a number of items, number of selections on this list which actually include CCG. There's a map there, there's data CCG there, there's a CCG menu, but I'm going to bypass that because it does what the others do. You also get a top 1000 CCG report and you get a dispensing doctor report. Both of those are filtered using the CCG filter. Okay, so let's click the map to start with. And we can see that we've filtered on 2 of the CCGs in this area. Let's zoom out a little bit in case there's any others. No, it's just the 2. We can see on the scale they're quite low down. They're not big prescribers, but by clicking them we can see that we can get to other information. We could zoom the map, we could compare CCG and so on and so forth. I will do another video about compare at some point, so you can watch that once we've actually done that. So if I close that down now, that's the map, so you're starting to get to grips with the territory or the CCGs. So that one was Newcastle, North and East, and this one was Gateshead. There we are. So let's close that down and go back to the drop down. Let's run a data report for CCGs. And this does the same sort of thing. We can see we've got Gateshead in there and Newcastle with various different pack sizes, or strengths rather, in there. So we could, again, as we've done before, we could filter or sort. So it's sorting on the cache there, so with the highest at the top. And we could say, let's just show the omeprazole 10 milligrams. So you can fiddle around, and then of course you can download to Excel, copy onto the clipboard and then paste into Excel with the download button there. Okay, so let's close that down and go back to the capsules again and use the drop down, and here we go to the top 1000 surgery, and these 1000 surgeries are going to be sorted on the CCG, so only the CCGs that we've selected in the filter are shown. If you left this for the whole country, it would show only the top prescribing 1000 surgeries. It wouldn't show every single surgery in the country. So we've got 7 records there. Again, we can filter on cost or sort on cost, so we can see that the Denton Park Medical Group is the highest prescriber and the lowest prescriber is Walker Medical Group down at the bottom there. And again, you can download as before. Close that down. Incidentally, if any of those show up in green, it shows that those are dispensing doctors. Now let's go into the dispensing doctor report and do the same. We've only got 2 practices that are dispensing in these 2 CCGs, but we've got them both there. Again, close those down. You've got everything you need there if you were looking for dispensing doctors in your territory or in your CCGs. And then we use the second drop down, which is another option, but it looks at trends by CCG. So this shows the trend over the last couple of years by CCG. The months are across the middle here, so we've got 2 years there. So to scroll to the far end and see the most recent month, well, at the moment it's at October 2014, but you've got it all here. The drop downs here, the filtering drop downs, are very flexible. So you could say you only want to see 2 of the CCGs. You could say I just want to see actual cost, and it will filter that out for you. Or you could say, actually, I want to see the number of items at the same time, and then you change your mind, click on one of these, and it'll go away. So it's very flexible, and once again, you can use the download button to push it into Excel for you. Now let's close up the molecule so that disappears, and we'll go down and have a look at groups, because there's a load of stuff at CCG level that's helpful there. So these groups are dealt with in another of the videos, but they're basically groups of key products, generally your own, but they can be key competitor products as well. So they're generally created at head office level rather than yourself. But once you've actually got them there as pink lines at the bottom of your screen, you can choose the drop down, and straight away we see you've got map CCG, we've got we've got data CCG, so you've got 2 ways of looking at the data there with CCG Filter and using the filter that you've constructed. The one at the bottom is worth mentioning because it's a kind of market share report. It's called Products CCG, and what it does is it uses only one of the CCGs in your filter, and it uses the top CCG in the actual filter you constructed. So I mentioned 00F earlier as the highest in the filter. So if I jump back to the actual filter itself, go up to the top, and actually click on the filter to go in there, you can see that actually Gateshead is 00F, that's the highest, it's ignoring the other 2. We couldn't get it to work with multiple CCGs at the same time because it would slow your machine down too much. So that's the breakdown for that group of products using just the Gateshead CCG. And again, you can play with the products, you can rank, and you can sort as with any of the other reports. The other report that's worth mentioning here is on the second drop-down menu, and it's called Trend Totals. Now this is also mentioned in another video, and it draws a graph as well as producing the data. So it's produced the data there now, and it's attempting to draw the graph, and there we go. So again, you can use the drop-downs here to actually say I only want to see the sums of money, for example, the total cost. That doesn't affect the graph, and the graph appears below and by default shows the totals, total cash, but you can add in the other things, the quantity and so forth, and you can actually remove things as well. And once the graphs are on the screen, if you hover over a graph, it will actually show you the totals in each month. And just at the top right hand side, you have a little bit of functionality to allow you to download graphs, and further up the screen on the data itself you've got a download button so you can actually download data to Excel. That's enough for now. Thank you for your time.